Think about whenever you leave your home or your car or your locker at school. What's the first thing that you do? You make sure that they're locked, don't you? Well, just like you'd lock your room to keep your valuables safe, strong passwords act as the virtual locks to your online accounts. When I was in high school, I only had one password. DROWSSAP. It might seem unique, but in reality, it was just the word password spelt backwards. Looking back, it was probably the second worst password choice that I could have made. The worst, of course, is just using the name password itself. These weak passwords, consisting of common words or phrases or easily guessable information, are like open doors inviting cybercriminals in. Hackers can employ automated programs, tirelessly trying thousands of combinations until they crack the code. In my case, it wouldn't have taken them long to decipher my not so cleverly disguised password. Neglecting the importance of strong passwords leaves you vulnerable to all kinds of trouble. If someone gains unauthorized access to your emails, social media profiles, or banking accounts, they can misuse your accounts and steal sensitive information or even impersonate you. This kind of identity theft could lead to financial losses or legal trouble and irreparable damage to your reputation. You can avoid this by creating stronger passwords. So here's some tips to keep in mind. Longer passwords are generally more secure. Aim for passwords that consist of at least 12 characters or more. Now, you might be asking yourself, Ben, how can I possibly create and remember a password that long? Well, why don't you try a passphrase instead? Passphrases are longer and easy to remember combinations of words or sentences spiced up with special characters. Let's make one right now to show you. Instead of relying on a single word, think of a funny mental image or a scenario involving a couple of words or a short phrase. Come up with something personal and unique, but avoid using easily accessible information like birthdays or family names. To add complexity, incorporate numbers and special characters creatively. Let's say that your favorite color is purple, and you have a cat, and your favorite thing to do is ski. Purple Cat Skiing 2023 could serve as both a strong and memorable passphrase, and it would be very difficult for a cyber criminal to guess. Why don't you give it a try and come up with a few creative and memorable passphrases as soon as you finish this lesson. Another thing that you're going to want to do is use a unique password for each account. You want to do this because if a hacker or someone with bad intentions discovers your email password, they won't just have access to your email account, they'll now have access to your bank accounts and your social media and every other account that uses that same password. It's like having the same key to your house and your car and the safe in your basement. Having unique passwords prevents all your accounts from being at risk. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself about all the accounts you have or might have, and you're wondering how you're going to keep track of so many passwords. Well, one way is by creating a password-protected document note on your phone. Both iPhone and Android allow you to create notes that can be locked and accessed with your device's passcode or a custom password. You can list all your passwords here, but avoid naming this note something obvious like passwords in case someone gains access to your phone. That would be like having a box in your house that says, all the money is stored in here. Another great option is a password manager. These are apps that you can download and they'll generate complex passwords on your behalf and securely store them in an encrypted vault, accessible only through a single strong master password. With Password Manager, you don't need to remember all the passwords you've created, just one master password that takes care of everything. Many of these password managers even have autofill functionality and will fill in your login credentials for you while you're on a website. This feature saves time and it reduces the risk of mistyping passwords, which could inadvertently lead to security breaches. I don't even know what most of my passwords are. I just have my one master password for my password manager, which keeps all my passwords safe and secure. A couple of great ones that I recommend are LastPass or 1Password or Dashlane, but be sure to do your research and find one that works well for you. Finally, it's always a good idea to change your passwords regularly, especially for critical accounts like email and banking. In fact, many sites will require you to do this, so don't be alarmed. Doing this regularly will keep you one step ahead of scammers and reduce the risk of unauthorized access. By following these password guidelines, you'll be well on your way to safeguarding your digital life. But as technology advances, so do scams and fraudsters. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about social engineering and how these scammers might trick you into giving them your password voluntarily. It's crazy. We'll talk about it soon.